Welcome and thank you for joining us here at the Rodney Appleby Experience, where together we can explore the mysteries of music. Without your presence, this will be impossible. I appreciate you tuning in to be part of our program.
Welcome to the Rodney Appleby Experience, broadcasting live every Tuesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. with the one, the only Rodney Appleby. And now, Mr. Rodney Appleby.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Rodney Appleby Experience here at 106liveradio.com. So glad you guys tuned in tonight. Tonight, we have a little topic just talking about the working musician. Most of the time when we think about musicians, let's just say artists, we think of the starving artist. That's the kind of the prototype, the stereotypical view of an artist. Or the other extreme is we think of the very famous artist that's rich and, everybody knows who they are. And there seems to be no mid-ground between the starving artist and the very well-off artist. There seems to be this big gap. And so tonight I want to kind of talk a little bit about what fills that gap between the starving artist and the very well-known, famous, let's call him rich or whatever, those types of artists. So I have a guest tonight who basically is a gentleman who, he's a guitar player and he's a working musician. It's something that he does, and he's pretty organized, and he has a CD out, and he's on all the platforms in terms of release of his CD, Amazon and other places. So he's a working musician, and yet, like many of us, he's not well-known, famous, all that kind of stuff. And yet somehow we manage to actually make a living. And when I say make a living, I don't mean, manage to, sleep on a buddy's couch from week to week and all that kind of stuff. I mean, actually do okay. And no, it's not considered rich. No, but it's not considered starving either. So there's something that fills that mid-ground that I want to talk about tonight. And I'm going to have an arc of guests from what I consider to be just your everyday working musician like myself. I consider myself an everyday working musician. And what that actually means is you won't find me doing the big festivals, and you won't find me, doing the Grammys and all that kind of stuff, but you will find me at some cozy little bistro somewhere providing music, or you might find me providing music at a community event, or, so I consider that working in the hospitality aspect of the music business. And that aspect of music has a broad range to it. And there's a lot of viability as a profession, the opportunity to actually make a living within that layer of the music business. It is quite prolific. And so I just want to talk a little bit tonight with our guest. I'll let him introduce himself. Did we manage to get him logged in? I know earlier we were having a little bit of trouble getting logged in. So I just wanted to find out if he managed to get himself logged in. Larry.
How you doing, man?
You managed to get logged in, huh?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I see you managed to get logged in, man. I know we were on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
It was a rough time.
Tell me.
Yeah, technology.
Well, I finally got there.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here, man. So glad you're here tonight, Larry. So I was
Thank
just
you.
letting the audience know that tonight we're talking about the working musician, the actual, not the famous one, but not the starving one either.
That's
You
true.
know, an actual viable artist doing a reasonably well job at making a living. And so
Yeah.
I know for me, it kind of starts with developing good relationships and having a good network of
Yeah.
people that you can communicate with. How do you find?
Yes.
Can you let me know? Well, first of all, introduce yourself and tell me a little bit
Okay.
about what you got going on, music you have out there.
Okay. My name is Larry Douglas Ellison. Most people in the music business out there know me as Thick, Thick. I don't know why they call me that because I was real heavy at one time, 300 pounds. So they call me
That
Thick.
that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, and that was the name of my first CD, Thick.
Oh, nice, nice.
It's
So where was
Douglas
that
Thick
released?
Ellison.
So how did you release that?
Uh, Distro Kid released it, and it's
Good,
on all the platforms.
good. So tell us the title of it and like some of the places we can find it. Let us know kind of
Oh,
the
uh, Amazon, YouTube, all the major Distro Kid, all the major platforms. I could name them. They on
and
Spotify, all of them.
the title of it is Thick, huh?
Thick, Thick.
You say that with a little pride.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And the next CD is gonna be Thick too.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
So we were on the phone a little bit earlier, and I was asking you if you might be able to prepare MP3 for me of some of your music so that I could send it over to the studio um, and have them, cue it up at some point, just so people could get a chance to hear some of what you're doing.
Okay,
So,
let me see. I put it
yeah,
right here. Let's see.
I know that.
See what
Some while back you gave me a CD, um, and I took a
yeah,
listen, and I enjoyed some of the tracks. So yeah, I was hoping that folks would
okay,
get a
I
chance
can
to.
forward to you right now. What is your email again right now?
You can send it to me, and I will make sure that the station gets it to Rodney Appleby 57 at
Wait a minute.
gmail.com. The same email
Rodney
that I sent the link to you on.
Rodney what's it other
Rodney
part?
Appleby,
Rodney
Rodney Appleby 57. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I thought
you
I
can
had you
tell
in
that
mind.
our generation is not the technology generation.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Let me see. No, it's not. But you have to put business recording. Um, oh man, I'm trying to find.
Now
I
I'll
know I
tell
got it
you,
in some.
in spite of us not being the technology generation, I can tell you that we too are learning how to put the tools to use and get the benefit of having this digital domain to work with.
No, I tell you what, it's good for recording. Um, I never thought I would be. There it is. I got
Broadcasting
it.
live from broadcasting live online.
Yeah, what I'm
So
talking about. Okay,
so
I'm
yeah,
trying
so
to.
if you send me a piece of music on break, I'll take a look and make sure that I get that over to the station. And but tell me
Okay.
a little bit, Mary, about where you've been playing at and what style of music you generally play.
I do. Just regular top 40 when I go out with bands. But
Uh-huh.
when I go out myself, I go out as Thick. I play my own music, and I do smooth jazz.
Cool.
I
What kind
love
of places
smooth
do you
jazz.
play at?
Well, I had to rent places and stuff like that and to perform my music. I perform here. I perform in Athens, Georgia, and I get a chance. I've been getting a lot of chance to play my own music, just private things.
Nice.
But I always
Nice.
wanted to play my music. You know,
I hear
I
you.
always
That's
wanted.
that's
Yeah,
most musicians' dreams, and that kind of when I'm talking about the music business, I was talking about the hospitality business, doing private events and those kind of things. And what you're talking about now, playing your own music, is kind of like getting into the entertainment business. And the
yes.
fact that you have your music kind of on the different platforms available for purchase, that's the music
Oh yeah.
business. So
Yeah.
you're covering all three. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I just get,
That's,
I just got tired. I've been traveling on the road for 40 years, over 40 years, different bands.
yeah,
And I've been writing for that long. But this is the first time I ever released something on my own. I got tons of music that I'm trying to get to release now.
gotcha.
And
Some of the
I have
bands you've
some,
traveled with. What are some of the bands you've traveled with?
well, I traveled, I was with the Tams.
Ah, I remember them.
I was the music director for the Tams. And I went out with the Tams, the Drifters, the Spinners. I played with a lot of groups.
Gotcha. That's a pretty nice resume.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. When I was with the Tams, I got a chance to meet a lot of people. I was on the show with Little Richard, BB King, and I got a chance to meet some of them kind of musicians.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
So seems we have a video freeze going on here.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
I knew I
But
was quiet for a minute. I know something was
yeah,
wrong.
I did a lot of traveling on the road myself
Hmm.
with different groups. Um, and the road, I know a lot of people think the road is this party place in a sense. Like every night, everybody's, hanging out and there's all the drinking and doing whatever the vices are and the
Yes.
pretty girls and all that kind of stuff. And yet, to be on tour, what I found was you have to be quite disciplined and really on a pretty strict schedule. For
Yes.
example, there's lobby call when you
Yeah.
have to, muster up because everybody has to travel together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also a sound check where everyone has to make sure that all the gear is sounding great and in good shape
Yeah.
and everything's ready for performance time. And there's also a lot of time spent moving from one place to the next place. And so it is not quite the party environment that people might associate with it. Now, I'm
Yeah.
saying that, but I don't mean to make it sound as if it's some type of oppressive, horrible thing. It's actually a lot of fun, but it is a
Yeah.
lot of work. Can you
Oh
talk
yeah.
about some of your tour experiences?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was on tour, like with the Tams, we
Uh,
get to a town, set up, have a sound check, go back to the hotel. When we go back to the hotel room, I go back and practice and for the show. And like when you're on the road, you can't forget you still got to practice.
right, right.
You still got to take care of your individual instrument and make sure you're ready on it. So if you want to go out and party, you can. But if you want to mess up, you can. And you got to stay serious about what you do
And I
because
think that's one of the
yeah,
big differences in some of the artists who tend to do well. They may not ever become like the famous headline. But
Yeah.
they'll get called by a lot of different people in order to be able to put together a string of gigs, or they'll get called by one of the headliners and they'll become one of the mainstays of the headliner's crew, and they'll do well that way. I know I have a buddy who was with Rick James for 30 years. And I'm hoping to have him on the show pretty soon and talk about what that was like.
I want to hear that myself.
I'm talking about 30 years with Rick James. So that means
I got to hear that.
He was there when the fuse got lit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was the most fun you had touring?
It had to be with the Tams.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, because we went to I played the Grand Ole Opry with them, and we did some TV shows, and I just enjoyed playing with them. And at one time, you know, the Tams had 3 major million sellers, and they still treated like that on the road. You know, for the audience, they still love them like they would put out the song yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, and they was a headliner. They was a headliner. We did that with Lil Anthony and the Imperials.
Wow,
man. And what's the name? God, what's their name?
Well,
they had a song called Chairman of the Board.
Okay.
And went a lot of people out there.
Yeah, that's historic. Lil Anthony and the Imperials.
I went with what's his name? The big belt bucker, Tyrone Davis. Tyrone Davis and Clarence Carter.
Clarence Carter.
Yeah, and
did they call him the Iceman?
Percy Sledge.
Did they call Clarence Carter the Iceman?
No.
No,
it wasn't Clarence, not the Iceman.
Who was that?
That was Jerry Butler.
That's right. Do any tour with Jerry Butler?
No, I didn't do nothing with him.
Okay.
We did something with the Spinners. What's the name of the group? Had a big band. I can't think of their name. They had an orchestra. I tried to think of their name.
Well, I know the Tams are a big name because even now, when I do a gig here or there, there's people who actually request one of the songs, and I'll just let you know which one it is, and you can tell me.
I know which one it is.
It's that "Be Young, Be Foolish."
Be young, be foolish, be happy. You know, when I first started playing with them, I knew the song, so I went to rehearsal with them, and I started playing the song and counted it off. And they were so serious about that's the wrong guitar lick you playing. I said, what? I don't want all that. I want it simple. Because I was trying to add a little bit to it. And they told me, don't add nothing. You play it just like the record. And I did. And I played with Robert, what's Robert's last name? Robert Smith. Now he's the only one of the town that's still living.
Do you know Charles Pope of the Tams?
I heard of him. I never seen him. There was the other group. That was some of his stepson or somebody.
Oh, got you.
That's leading the group now.
Oh, so they're like the next generation of the Tams.
Yeah, because the only one I was in the town with Robert. Robert, he's the last one living. He the one do you remember the song they did, What Kind of Fool?
Well,
that was Robert doing What Kind of Fool. He's the only one still living.
I can tell you had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yes, man. That guy was 80-something years old and still do the split.
So now, with that being, because the artists that you mentioned in terms of touring with and a lot of live performances you've done, that's a lot of soul music, R&B, all that stuff. And then when you got a chance to do your own thing, you shifted over to smooth jazz.
Oh yeah, I always loved that more. But I never did get a chance to do it when I was on the road with all the other groups. And when I recorded, that's what I record, smooth jazz. I loved Norman Brown. I loved my favorite one, what's his name? Paul Jackson Jr.
Okay.
I love Paul Jackson Jr. And Cornell Dupree.
Oh yeah.
I listened to people like that when I was coming up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And,
so they
got fired from Curtis Mayfield.
You did?
Yes, sir.
Curtis Mayfield fired you, huh?
Yeah. Well, he had a right to. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And I went down to his audition. And I really couldn't play, Rodney. You know what I'm saying? I thought I could.
Well, listen, hold that story for me, Larry. Hold that story for me. Let's take a little break. I want you to take your time and tell me all about it. We'll be right back. The Rodney Appleby Experience at 106 Live Radio, y'all. Don't go away.
106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. Today's R&B and throwbacks.
Greetings. This is Rodney Appleby, host of the Rodney Appleby Experience. To bring you quality programming, interesting guests, and entertaining performances, your support is very important. Donations, large and small, are always welcome. Sponsors are an important part of our ability to provide you the kind of experience you deserve. Please go to 106liveradio.com/Rodney. There, you'll find a link to support the Rodney Appleby Experience. While tuned in on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe for alerts and updates. And you can download the 106 Live Radio app to receive notices of upcoming podcasts. And once again, thank you for your support.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Juneteenth, also known as Jubilee Day, commemorates June 19, 1865, the end of slavery in the United States. This emancipation date is the longest-running African-American holiday in American history and officially became a holiday on June 17, 2021. This Juneteenth, remember the price paid by those before us as we honor this emancipation legacy.
Mental health awareness. You are more than enough. Mental Health Awareness Month has been observed in the U.S. since 1949, believe it or not. Many may not know that. But what we want to tell you today is, no matter what you're going through, this is the opportunity for all of us to come together and remember the value that each of us hold. No matter our diagnosis, socioeconomic status, background, or ability. We want every person out there to know that if all you did was wake up today, that was more than enough. Showing up just as you are for the people around you, and most importantly yourself, is more than enough. Join us for More Than Enough campaign. When you get a chance, tag 106 Live Radio with hashtag More Than Enough, because we all support mental health. This is coming to you from Andriana Williams, a mental health advocate.
You're invited to our summer car wash fundraiser. Look at your ride as you cruise down the streets of Atlanta and you'll see something is missing. A good old-fashioned car wash. Well, look no further. Stop by 106 Live Radio in the Metro Fun Center parking lot for a special car wash event on Saturday, June 17th, 11 to 4 p.m. Our Team 106 will provide exceptional services and a fun experience. This is the place where excitement meets diversity 24/7. 1959 Metropolitan Parkway, Atlanta 30315. All proceeds go to the upgrade of our station equipment. See you there. Let me tell you, it's always cute. And the boss don't matter sometimes.
106liveradio.com. Atlanta.
Are you ready to elevate your connections and improve your networking skills? Here, you can take your career, brand, and organization to the next dimension. Networking with Valerie is your passport for personal and professional growth. Tune in every second and fourth Saturday from 11 to 12 p.m. for our networking events. This is the place to build and maintain relationships. On 106 R&B and Throwbacks, powered by 106liveradio.com.
Yeah, I see blessings.
Help me find a way through this darkness to the light.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Having a nice conversation with Larry. Actually, Larry's done quite a few, I'm going to just call them historic things, play with some historic figures. And so it's very interesting to get a chance to speak with some artists. For example, last week, the younger artist who's using digital tools to actually create a performance before the audience's very eyes. And now having a chance to speak with an artist who's toured with such greats as the Drifters and the Tams and the Spinners. And there's something very, I'm going to just say there's a common thread that runs through it all. And there's an energy that comes from the musicians, those artists, those people who desire to make music. There's a common energy that I find with them, and I enjoy being in the presence of. So, Larry, are we there? Is your mic muted?
No.
Okay, there you go. I got you now.
Okay.
I got you. Now, we still have a video freeze, but at least I can talk to you.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So we're talking a little bit about the kinds of people you've played with. What were some of the places you guys have played at? Some of the cities, some of the venues. What were some of the memorable venues you've played at?
Well, we played mostly on the East Coast. We went to Detroit, Arkansas, Florida, all the southern states.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now,
Carolina.
And
but like I said, the best places that I really enjoyed when I played the Grand Ole Opry.
I say that was kind of the height of it, huh?
Yes, because I was treated different there than any other place I ever played.
Wow. And I imagine some might think of the good old Opry with some negative racial overtones or something.
Yeah. I could see why, but when you tour the back end of the Grand Ole Opry, every dressing room has a full stage and sound in the dressing room that you can practice on, like a full stage setup in the dressing room. So when you come out, you're ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I never been like every dressing room. They had about 20 dressing rooms. Each one of them had a major sound in there, major sound company working the dressing room. And
that's crazy.
When you rehearse it, they wanted you to sound like you're supposed to sound.
Yeah. If you have
And
a record, they want you to sound like your record.
yes, yes, and that was a that was a big time for me. I never been that big time before, and the money I was making then, that was big time for me. For me, you talking to a musician that was playing juke joints,
Right.
and I went straight from that to sound companies, and had to work it out with them and lighting companies. I never been that part of the music industry. I had light and people dressing you up, makeup. I never been like that.
I've, I know when I first found myself in that kind of a setting, it was a little overwhelming. It was mostly around TV,
Yeah.
doing some things for TV and a little movie thing that we did.
I used to do when I was younger. We used to go to James Brown's studio. In Augusta.
Oh.
He had a TV station down there, and I used to be on TV like once a month, James Brown TV. And I was doing gospel then. I was playing guitar for a gospel group, and we was on TV like once a month, and on James Brown studio down in Augusta. That was fun. That was fun. I played with some nice gospel groups back then, the Williams Brothers, the Cat Spirituals. Yeah, I played with some of them guys.
Very cool, man. So you've had quite a prolific musical career.
Well, I wouldn't call it prolific, but it was ups and downs. You know how it is.
Oh yeah, I know the truth of it. And
one moment you're making hundreds of dollars, and next month you're making a chicken sandwich. You know what I
mean? And thankful for that sandwich.
Oh yeah, love the lettuce, love the lettuce.
So, yeah, I know that a lot of the tours that I did, I gotta say I was very fortunate. They were managed pretty well. I remember this one tour I did, and I'm gonna see if I can contact my buddy and see if I can get him on here to talk about some of the tours. But we did a tour, a blues tour through Florida. And basically it was the standard. Now you got to check it out. It was the standard band in a van, equipment in a trailer. Literally just the band in the van, pulling the trailer full of equipment, going from venue to venue to venue to venue for about a month. And we did well, but I call that guerrilla touring.
Oh yeah.
And we'd mostly pull up, get a couple of hotel rooms, get ourselves showered up, get cleaned up, knock a show out, get a night's sleep, and on to the next thing. And we just ground it out like that for weeks, And that's what I call working musicians. And lots of people, I got to tell you, I was told back in the day, oh, you can't make a living playing music and all these different, opinions and perspectives. And I just found that it was really not about the music, but it's about your integrity, your ability to have good relationships, and knowing how not to burn bridges, because the key to it is to be called back and to be called over and over again. And for it not just be you show up once, you do such a horrible job, or so unreasonable to work with that people don't want to call you back. That's a sure way to kill a music career right there.
Yes.
So I found it very important to know how to have relationships. Talk to me about some of the relationships you developed through those years.
Well, I met some great musicians, and when I say great, the great ones the great musicians, I found out you can talk to them, and they would explain stuff to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought they would be like stuck up, but no, they're not. The best ones is the ones that would tell you things.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and they'll talk to you. I met a guy. His name was Holmes. He was a drummer,
Uh-huh.
and he taught me more about the guitar than any other guitar player
You
because
know that.
he had the philosophy of James Brown. James Brown said that every instrument is a drum,
Uh-huh.
and he had that kind of philosophy. He taught me to think of the guitar as a drum, not as a guitar. It's
Interesting.
about licks.
Uh-huh.
And he's telling me, anytime you strike an instrument, it's a percussion. He said,
Got
remember that.
Uh-huh.
And, and and that's how I see it. To
That's
this day,
definitely
I
true
believe that.
about percussions.
Oh yeah, everything. If you have to strike an instrument, it's a percussion. He said, if
I
you had
know
to
they were.
play with a pick, you striking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said,
Yep.
think of it as a drum, not just think of it as a drum with strings.
That's interesting. So a drummer ended up being one of your
Yes.
best resources for the guitar.
Oh yeah. Just like my son. My son's a drummer. And I know, you know, it's gonna sound strange when I say this, but one of the best musicians I ever met in my life is my son.
Wow.
He can I could sit and talk to him about music, and his thing about music go way deeper than what he's playing.
Uh-huh.
It's about the color he talking about.
Gotcha.
He talking about, Dad, what you hear? What color you hear? That's what you mean. He said, I hear green. Hey, I understand what he's saying. He understand what I'm saying.
You know, there is an actual scientific, I don't know what to call it, but there's a scientific finding that
Yes.
suggests that there are people who actually hear and understand music through colors.
Yeah, that's true.
They understand that sound through colors. I had a friend, a very very dynamic keyboard player from the islands,
Mm-hmm.
and he was one of those people who talked about sound as in colors and textures.
Yeah.
And so and when you hear him play, you can actually see where it's coming from, even if you think of that yourself. But the idea of seeing sound is something that I used to teach to some of the kids in terms of, let's just say, keeping it real simple, various rhythms. For example, a rhythm of 3, it could be in a triangular shape.
Yeah.
You know. And so making those associations actually help kids to be able to process what would have normally been complex music ideas, but to process them with a little more like associative strength. They could kind of analogize it to things.
Let me ask you a question, Rodney.
Yes.
Let me ask you, when you record, right?
Yes.
Do you record in A440 frequency?
In A440?
Yeah, frequency.
I have, and I've also experimented with 432.
Yes, I have. I have been doing that a lot lately.
Yes.
And I have found, this is just my personal feeling about that. That when you tune to a 432,
yes,
that is the tuning of God.
Care to explain?
Yes, because the vocal cords itself, right? that's inside your throat, the vocal cords,
Yes.
they are tuned to 432.
Interesting.
And when you in the 432 mode, you can talk to the animals, you can talk to the plants, and you
That
can hear what they're saying.
that's powerful.
Yes,
That's very powerful.
that's powerful because the human vocal cords is 432. You know how you be in a group and you give somebody a part to sing and they just can't get it right. It take them a long time to get it right because they were using the wrong thing for their vocal cords. One night I used to play with this church choir, and I told the keyboard player and the bass player, let's tune to 432. Don't tell the choir, right? And the piano player, don't tell the choir. And when we got through that night, some of the worst singers in the choir came up and said, I don't know what y'all did, but I sure could sing that song better. Because they didn't have to strain to do nothing.
So actually tuning the instruments to 432
Yeah,
created a much more comfortable
relax
vocal
for their
experience.
vocal cords.
Wow.
Yes, it did. But I told them, don't tell the singers we tuning down. You can't tell it with the ear, but the
Right,
vocal
right.
cords. Yeah,
From
but the vocal they number
432
point eight off.
from 432 to
Hmm.
440 is
Yeah,
only 8 hertz.
yeah, off. But it means a lot to your vocal cords. You can hit any note without
Wow.
straining.
Who introduced you to that?
I don't know. I messed around, hit into it. My keyboard player, he always think like stuff like that. And one day he was telling me that, and I couldn't. I tell you, if you really try it out, if you got sand, just say you put sand on an aluminum shield or plate, and you
Uh-huh.
hit and you put 440 hook 440 volts sound to that plate,
Right,
that
right.
sand will run all off in different directions. But if
Uh-huh.
you put it in 432, they'll develop patterns, stay on the plate.
Yeah,
They'll
I've
be more
seen
they'll
that
be more
happen.
calmer. They'll be more calmer. They
Yeah,
won't run. They won't run.
I've seen that happen. That's what
Some
they call
doctors use
cymatics or
sound.
something.
Some doctors use sound waves to cure.
Yes.
Yeah, and see,
Well,
so it's in there. It's in there. It's we serve a mighty God who gave us everything we needed. We just got to pay attention to it.
and the music that we tend to play,
Yes.
even though sometimes it's taken as entertainment,
Yeah.
as you're indicating, it really is much more than that.
I,
It's an
my son was
opportunity for healing.
my son was 8 years old, and I took
Yes.
him downtown, and I said, "Son,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna buy you a set of drums for Christmas." I said, "But I want you to take like a month of training before I give you the drums."
Uh-huh.
He said, "Why are you gonna do that, Daddy?" I said, "I don't want you beating, busting heads, and cracking stuff until you learn how to hold the sticks right."
Uh-huh.
And I took him downtown to a drum studio, and the guys, when we got there, he said, "You know what they call a musician? I mean, the guy, what they call a guy that hang around two musicians?" I said, "No, what you call them?" They said, "A drummer." They just started laughing. They they just started laughing, and I got kind of upset. And I told the guys, I said, "Do you know the drum was outlawed on the plantation?" And they said,
Uh-huh.
"No." Said, "No, we didn't know that. Why?" I said, "Because the drum is the only instrument that can talk."
And send that message.
Yeah, I said they didn't want the slave talking to one another. I said,
Wow.
drum is so important. That's why the young people, they got war drums in their music. That's why the youth is the way they are.
Say they don't even understand
They
the
don't
war
understand that
rhythms.
it's the beats that's driving them crazy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They don't understand that.
Say so frequency is very powerful, huh?
Yes, it's very powerful. And if you now you can look this up. I may be wrong when I say this. You know, the standard tuning was 432 until 1930.
Wow.
It was changed to 440 in 1930.
And I wonder what some of the reasons are about that.
Let me tell you the reason. The Germans changed it and made it 440 around the world because they said 440 was better for mind control.
Interesting.
Huh?
Interesting.
That's why they use the way they are. They're out of their mind. And, and the music that they listen to drives them out of their mind.
So just by shifting the frequencies, those slight degrees, has that kind of effect globally?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
You know, I think maybe musicians have a more important role than just entertaining.
Yes, we do. We do. And we can move whole crowds of people by what we say.
I know that church doesn't try to have service without musicians.
And oh, now don't let me say. I know people be calling in, cussing you out for what I'm about to say about that.
No, don't go there.
But yeah, but the church, they're really afraid to sing music that talk about suffering. They really afraid. They want to talk about it's a new day and God loves y'all and everything. All right. No. Tell the truth in the song. And we done got away from the truth.
Well, listen, we're going to take
a lot of churches have what they call a praise team.
But check it out, Larry. We're going to take a short pause. Is it possible? I've checked my email on the last break. Can you send me an MP3? I'd love to play one of the cuts of your CD, if that's possible.
Okay, it froze up on me. I'm trying to hit my Gmail again, and it just froze up on me. Every time I try to pull up Anyway, I'm still trying to do it.
Okay, well, we'll work on it during the break.
I can't get it to come back up.
Don't y'all go away. We'll be right back.
All right.
Darkness to the light of day. So much distraction all around. It's got me standing on shaky ground.
Broadcasting live from Atlanta while serving the entire globe. It's the fastest growing radio on the web. It's 106liveradio.com.
Don E. Miller, licensed professional counselor. He has the formula for wholeness: encourage, empower, educate, enrich. It's called the E effect, and it will change your life. The E effect will empower the individual who may be mentally impaired to get involved in programs to help them live a productive life. These programs, which also enrich those in need by providing education and information, which promotes a high quality of life. For more information, call Don E. Miller at 678-741-5337 or visit the website at www.theeffect.net.
Calling all authors. Do you want to promote your book? Get heard, get seen, make more money. Douglasville Books and 106 Live Radio is now offering promotional packages to create a better audience just for you. 770-949-4363. Douglasville Books, the people's choice. You're invited to our summer car wash fundraiser. Look at your ride as you cruise down the streets of Atlanta and you'll see something is missing. A good old-fashioned car wash. Well, look no further. Stop by 106 Live Radio in the Metro Fun Center parking lot for a special car wash event on Saturday, June 17th, 11 to 4 p.m. Our Team 106 will provide exceptional services and a fun experience. This is the place where excitement meets diversity 24/7. 1959 Metropolitan Parkway, Atlanta 30315. All proceeds go to the upgrade of our station equipment. See you there.
The Male Perspective, broadcasting on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be guests and tons of great, useful information. Also talking about what's on your mind. Call in 404-464-8785. That's Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7 with your host, Don Miller, and co-host Willie LeGrand Jr., along with Ron Robinson. New year, new time, same great show. Remember, that's 106liveradio.com, where excitement meets diversity 24/7. We are heard worldwide.
Maximize your brand. Calling all hosts. Have you ever dreamed of hosting your own show? Well, 106 Live Radio platform is looking for positive, creative, self-motivated individuals and groups. Here you can host your own program. If you are serious and interested in joining our growing platform, Team 106 is happy to host you at our state-of-the-art studio. Please reach out to us at 404-622-4152 or send us an email at contactus@106liveradio.com. Bring your best self.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to tell everyone else,
ladies and gentlemen,
about 106liveradio.com.
Welcome back, y'all. You know, I was glad that Larry brought up the different tunings that are possible for an actual instrument to be tuned in. And I was just doing a little bit of research, and I'm just going to read a quick little conclusion here. It says, the data suggests that music tuned to 432 hertz can decrease heart rate more than 440 hertz music, and that they're doing more studies now to see how consistent these results actually are. So there are some actual real-time benefits to having the different tunings. In fact, I'm going to maybe start making a little more of a concerted effort to make sure that I put a lot more of my music in 432. Even when I'm making tracks that I'm going to be using for different applications of cover tunes, I think I'm going to begin to shift over and put things into 432. I think that makes sense, especially if it's going to give the vocals a little bit of ease, anything to make it a little easier to get through a night, right? So, Larry, did you manage to find, were you able to get a track over to me? I'm still
articulation, and one is called cold, COLD.
Articulation and cold. And where did you send it?
To Rodney Appleby 57.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
All right, looking there
but
now.
They load. They one of them not loading up. Hadn't loaded up, but it's about at the end right now.
All right. Well, then if it loads before I'll get it played. But in the meantime, Larry, thank you for actually reminding me of 432. That again is a very important aspect of music, and I think it actually has some value. I
sent them to you. They're there now.
Oh, they should be there now. Okay, let me take a quick look, see if they came in. Let me refresh the page and make sure they came in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not seeing them yet. Oh, I heard something just pop in.
Yeah, I did too.
I heard something just pop in.
I think that might have been them.
Okay, there you go. So I'm going to send these over to the station. And
can you hear this? This is cold.
Oh, yeah, we can hear that quite well. We can hear that quite well.
Yeah, that's cold. That means, come on, let's dance. I like that.
And this is you.
Yeah.
And this is your original called Cold.
Yeah, called Cold.
And is it in 432?
That's not 432. That's
Okay.
440.
Okay.
That's 440. But I got my newer tunes, I'm doing 432.
Gotcha.
This next CD is going to be much different than my last one. The last one, I had just got the recording equipment and really wasn't familiar with the buttons and how you mix stuff and stuff like that. And over time, I'm learning how to mix and how to edit. You know, it's that final mix that make you.
Yeah, the final mix is always very important. You know, in fact, you might want to check the programs to make it what they call broadcast ready.
Yeah.
And that means that they have already kind of found where to put the limiters and all that in the compressions, and they squeeze it into this narrow band so that you can hear everything equally across the broadcast.
The mastering, I got 2-3 mastering programs that I just click one button and master it, you know. But you want every instrument clean as it possibly could be. I have a hard time trying to get that jazz guitar sound through my equipment here.
Gotcha.
But I thought I was a jazz player, but I'm not a jazz player. I'm a guitar player.
Well, but you know what though? The sweet sounds of Cold, it might say otherwise, man, because you sound sweet. We're out of time, Larry. Thank you for coming on tonight, man. So glad you made it. And
I'm
so
try
happy
to get up and see you tomorrow night.
Be happy to see you, man. And thank you for sharing.
I would like you to listen to some of my stuff. Just come by the house and listen to the studio. I got some different stuff I've done. You know, it's different from me. It is.
Okay. Okay. We'll
I wish I could get gigs around town. I want some gigs in cities.
Well, we'll set up some time, man, and see if we can spend some time.
All right, Ed.
All right. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thick, as it were. So glad he made it over to the show tonight. Y'all here at 106liveradio.com, the Rodney Appleby Experience. See you guys again next week. Take care of each other.
Thank you.
As always, it has been our pleasure to bring you tonight's program. The magic of music goes far beyond its entertainment. It is nourishment for our soul. You're encouraged to go to 106liveradio.com/Rodney and hit the link to support the Rodney Appleby Experience. Donations, large and small, are always welcome. Sponsors are also an important part of our ability to continue to provide quality programming, interesting guests, and entertaining performances. You can always reach me here at the station, or you can reach me directly at rodneyappleby57@gmail.com or at 706-362-5328. I look forward to hearing from you. Please tune in through the week for other interesting programs with our 106 family. We appreciate your support.